Okay, let's get one thing straight right off the bat. This isn't a political rant. I'm not here to throw red, blue, or purple paint at anyone. Americans aren't fleeing the country waving protest signs. They're just leaving quietly with their passports in hand. Hi, I'm Kate, and I get it. I've been there. I left the US back in 1982. I came to Indonesia for a 3-month job, and somehow I just never got around to leaving. 40 plus years later, I'm still here, still happy, and still watching Americans realize one by one that maybe, just maybe, there's more to life than overpriced rent and soul crushing health insurance costs. So, what's driving this mass exodus? Why are Americans, teachers, retirees, creatives, techies, families, and others, booking one way tickets and never looking back? And where are they all going? Let's take a look at what's really behind this slow motion exodus. First, the cost of living in the US is laughably absurd. Yeah, this is the most obvious reason. Everything in the US costs a small fortune now. Rent? Hope you enjoy roommates. Groceries? Get ready to mortgage your house for a week of goodies. Want to take your kid to the dentist? Better hope you hit the Powerball. Meanwhile, in places like Mexico, Vietnam, Portugal, and of course Indonesia, my favorite, people are living full lives, eating well, sleeping well, affording health care on much less of the price many Americans pay just for a studio apartment. When you realize you can live in a sun drenched, beachy town or a mountain town where I live, where doctor visits cost less than your Starbucks order, you start thinking, huh, maybe life can be better somewhere else. Second, US healthcare. That's like playing Russian roulette with your wallet. Yes, healthcare in America, where you pay thousands a year just for the privilege of still having to argue with an insurance company that a broken leg is, in fact, a medical emergency. Look, I've been outside the system for decades now, so I'm only repeating what friends have told me. But let me tell you, when I go to a doctor in Indonesia, it doesn't involve a second mortgage, 45 minutes on hold, or being told to just go to the ER. In fact, healthcare in many parts of the world is not only affordable, but actually downright pleasant. Ever meet someone who had a huge smile on her face after a doctor's visit? Well, I have. It was a newly arrived American expat who couldn't believe the bill was something like $20. I don't remember exactly, including the meds. Third, the US lifestyle of hustle till you drop. Let me guess. You wake up, rush through your morning, sit in traffic, work all day, answer emails after hours, eat something vaguely edible, collapse, repeat. Sound familiar? The American lifestyle is sometimes one long treadmill that nobody seems to be enjoying, or at least not many seem to be enjoying, but everyone's afraid to step off. Overseas, though, things slow down. People have lunch breaks that don't involve crying into Tupperware, but we do have Tupperware. When I need it, I've got it. When you finally stop sprinting toward the burnout and start strolling through life instead, it's kind of addictive. At least that's what I found out when I came to Indonesia in December 1982. Fourth, remote work has blown the doors wide open. Once upon a time, you had to wait until retirement to escape. Now, you just need Wi Fi and a halfway decent Zoom background. That's right. If you're working online from home, have you finally realized that your presence in the US is not mandatory? Remote work has made it possible for people to earn a Western salary while living somewhere that doesn't require selling a kidney to cover rent. And if you're a digital nomad or freelancer, you've probably already heard the siren call of Bali, Chiang Mai, or Lisbon, where co working spaces seem to outnumber parking lots, and the local cafe knows your order and your name. The pandemic basically gave people permission to ask, what if I never go back to the office or the country? And many said, oh, what a great idea. Fifth is the constant chaos fatigue. Let's face it, the emotional exhaustion in the US is real. Between the news cycle, the arguments, the protests, the crime stats, and the existential dread, people are tired, like bone deep tired. And while no place on earth is totally problem free, a lot of countries manage to be functional without all the drama. When people leave, they're not necessarily giving up on America. They're just giving up on being constantly outraged, overworked, and overwhelmed. Sometimes the biggest luxury of expat life is just being bored again. And trust me, that's a good thing. Sixth, people want their lives back. Not everyone who leaves the US is running away from something. Some are just running towards something called peace, adventure, balance, or maybe just the ability to take a walk without checking whether they've managed to get the recommended 10,000 daily steps. When I left, it was because I wanted something different. I wanted some adventure and a place where I could be who I wanted to be. I stayed because I found something better, a better life. And I've met countless others who have done the same. Teachers who found joy again in the classrooms. Creatives who finally had time to create. Retirees who traded stress for sunsets. A lot of Americans are starting to realize it's not you, it's the system. And maybe the best way to fix your life is to relocate it. So, where are Americans going? Well, they're not just disappearing, they're building vibrant, interesting, affordable lives all over the world. Here are a few current crowd favorites. Mexico, close enough for a quick trip home, far enough for your money to matter. Expats love places like Mérida, San Miguel de Allende, and Puerto Vallarta. Sunshine, tacos, and healthcare that won't give you a panic attack. Right. Portugal. It's not just the amazing weather. Portugal has friendly visa policies, great healthcare, and a life is for living vibe that's hard to beat. Plus a whole bottle of wine that costs less than a coffee. And then Thailand. Want massages for $6? Noodle shops on every corner? And healthcare that won't bankrupt you? You might hear Thailand calling you. Chiang Mai is basically a digital nomad paradise, at the point when I'm recording this video. And Spain, oh, I love Spain. Sangria, siestas, and cities that actually invest in public spaces. Beautiful parks with benches where you can go and read for hours. Yes, Americans are falling in love with Spain, especially Granada and Valencia, where rent won't require selling a vital organ. And then there's Costa Rica. If you're into jungle mornings and ocean sunsets, Costa Rica might be your spot. Great expat communities, solid healthcare, and a general happiness attitude that makes it a big favorite. And how about Vietnam? Fast internet, vibrant culture, and more delicious street food than you could ever try in one lifetime. Vietnam is climbing the ranks fast for budget-conscious expats and digital creatives. And I can't forget Bali here in Indonesia. Okay, I said I wouldn't make this all about Indonesia, and it's not, but I mean Bali. Yoga at sunrise, smoothies for breakfast, and a cost of living that makes US inflation look even more absurd. I actually prefer Yogyakarta on the island of Java, but a lot of expats have found real homes and pleasure in Bali. Okay then, but is it really that simple? Nope, I'm not going to lie to you. Moving abroad isn't like booking a spa weekend. There are forms, language barriers, and days when you'll want to scream into a pillow because you can't figure out the plumbing. You'll miss weird things like peanut butter or the bright colors of fall, your favorite ethnic restaurants. But if you're even considering this life at all, it probably means you're craving something the US just isn't giving you anymore. And you wouldn't be alone. Millions of Americans have already figured out that happiness might not be about climbing the ladder, but instead finding a whole new ladder in a different country. So here are some final thoughts from your friendly, long-term expat. I didn't plan to stay gone forever. But you know what? Once I saw that life didn't have to be an endless series of stressors, I wasn't in any rush to go back. Life abroad isn't a fantasy. I had plenty of challenges, yep. But conquering those challenges has given me a real sense of who I wanted to be. If you're over the rat race, tired of the noise, and wondering whether there's more out there, I'm here to tell you, yes, there's definitely more. So if you've ever caught yourself daydreaming about a simpler, saner, more soul-nourishing life somewhere else, you're not crazy. You might just be ready to pack your bags. So, be honest. Would you ever pack your bags and leave the US? If yes, where would you go? I'd love to hear your dream destination. Or the biggest thing keeping you from making the leap. Drop your thoughts below. And please, like, give it a thumbs up, and subscribe if you got anything out of this video. Subscribing really helps my channel. I really appreciate it. So thanks for that, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.